are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast, episode 173 of the College Loop Podcast. I am Dylan Larck at your boy Tank on Twitter. I'm going to go and get started today. Just me in the studio today. And as it seems, Auburn has lost a commitment of one of their class of 2025 prospects for this upcoming recruiting cycle, as Antonio Coleman out of Saraland has officially flipped back to Alabama. So a guy who I think committed to Auburn, I think March or early March, or not March. I'm trying to remember when exactly it happened. It was so long ago. It was like early on in, last year, part of the little tandem between him and Malik Autry. And then just out of nowhere, flips back to Alabama. Probably something probably been seeing for a little bit. Those Saraland guys just always find a way to to just give some issues to Auburn fans. But yeah, not a huge loss in the rankings. Auburn currently is still at 7th, even after the decommitment of Antonio Coleman. So, and this is still a defensive line class that is still very, very good. Of course, you have Jordan Crawford, Kalen Edwards, Malik Autry, and then of course you have Caleb Vaughn coming in as the edge rusher position. So you still have a lot of great defensive line talent coming in this class. But yeah, not a huge blow. And we have a Disco Godfather saying, "Put your weight on it, Dylan, College Loop." Welcome to the stream, Disco. But yeah, not a huge loss. I'm not going to stress about too much. This happens. It's so early on in the 2025 recruiting cycle. For this year, at least, you're always recruiting these guys. I don't think it's a massive, massive loss that you should really fret over. There's a lot of other guys that Auburn's going to pick up in this class. Because again, we are very high on where the class 25 is going to end up, whether it be in the top 5 or whether it be in the top 3. I think it could find its way either one of those two. Well, in some instances, both. But yeah. And I'm going to have a little bit of a football sandwich tonight. Going to round out the show with some combine talks and going over how some of the Auburn Tigers performed in this week's combine. But I'm going to go through the rest of Auburn Athletics before then. Yesterday, Auburn Basketball took on the Mississippi State Bulldogs in their third their next to last home game of the season, as they took the win 78-63. James, what's up, man? Is the Coleman loss a mutual thing? It just came out of nowhere. It probably is, because I mean, if you're looking at it in a way from defensive line coaches, his head recruiter is Vontrell King Williams, who is the new defensive line coach. I'm sure he probably had some close ties with the previous one before he left for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I hate that his name is blanking on me now that I'm on the spot. But stuff like that happens. But Jordan Crawford seems pretty stagnant with Auburn. Malik Autry recommitted after Texas tried to make a push. So those three guys kind of make up. Unless like all of them start going, but then that'd be the whole other issue to talk about. But I think it'll be fine from where it is. I usually assume whenever something along these lines, it's a mutual parting of ways. We got Chris Cosby coming in, Tim Tolmain Taylor also coming in as well. So what's up, guys? But yeah, Auburn took on Mississippi State Bulldogs, got revenge on the previous loss they took, embarrassing loss earlier on in the year. Janai Broome put up 17 points. Denver Jones put up 15. Then you had Jay Will and Chad Baker-Mazar both put up 10 points. Chaney Johnson put up 8 off the bench. Dylan Cardwell 6. Trey Donaldson 4. Keedy Johnson 3. Leor Berman put up 5 points. And some bad news, a bad turn of events for Leor Berman. It has turned out that he has injured his ACL and will ultimately be out for the rest of the season. So huge morale loss missing out on Leor Berman. He came back for his 5th year, a guy who always puts in the effort on the court. And at some instances, he's been a pretty reliable source of defense whenever guards get in foul trouble or guards aren't shutting down anybody. If you don't remember, against Ole Miss, I think that first contest against him, Leor Berman went in there and put on a seatbelt against Alan Flanagan for a good long while of that game. But yeah, huge loss. And I know people talk about Leor Berman. It's like he's not a factor on the team. He's not part of the whole like our 10's better than yours kind of thing. But Leor Berman, the effort he puts on defensively is just out of this world. Leor Berman would put up 40 points against anybody who talks crap about them. It sucks. But overall, this win is a great win for Auburn. Shot almost 50% from the 3-point line, 50% from the field. You shot pretty well from the free throw line, especially with Jalen Williams putting 8 for 8. A lot of good things taken from this game, and just going from after the Tennessee loss. So you're going into Missouri this week, and we'll have a whole preview for the Missouri game on Tuesday because that game, we're not worried about that game per se, predicting it and previewing it. But something about watching an 0-16 SEC team or 0-16 in conference play walk in and watch Auburn walk into that arena, it kind of gives me a little chill bumps going on because it just feels like that's a game that just stupidly Auburn could lose. But I don't think it. I think Auburn rounds out the schedule with 2 more wins. But there is like a good chance. There's like a weird world where the SEC could have a share of 5 champions for the regular season title, which would be a lot of fun if that were to happen. But I don't know how likely it is to happen. I think Tennessee would need to lose out. Alabama needs to split. Auburn needs to win out. South Carolina needs to win out or something like that. And everybody finishes out with the same losses. It's something crazy like that would round out with 5 SEC champions for this year, which will just go into how just wild this basketball season has been. But yeah, there's not many negative takeaways from this game. You kind of let Mississippi State hang in a little too long, kind of let them have a really good second quarter or second half. You gave up Josh Hubbard put up 23, Tolu Smith put up 14, but outside of those two, no one else was a factor in this game. I think the highest after the 14 from Tolu Smith is 6. Then it's 4, then 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, and then there's a 0 on there. And then Auburn, of course, they got out rebounded. Those are pretty much all the negatives. The fouls were ridiculous. Chad Baker-Mazara getting fouled out. I heard that I was unable to watch the whole game because I was out and about. But I did hear from a little birdie that Chad Baker-Mazara did get another tech on him. So I would be interested to see how he would rank against other Auburn players in forms of getting a tech. Because I feel like he is maybe up to 5 this year. I swear it's got to be 5 or more for Chad Baker-Mazara with technical fouls. But yeah, a lot of positives from this game. Not too many negatives. But and you got 2 more games left in the SEC tournament. Which the SEC tournament for women's basketball has already been decided, and not for women's basketball, we'll get into the whole ad read stuff. But women's basketball finished out their season today or yesterday as well, or I believe it was today. Hold on, my mental brains are not braining. Yesterday. Thursday took on Mississippi State and beat Mississippi State 77-60 behind a record day for Scott Grayson, put up 32 points, a career high. And just took it to Mississippi State all up and down the court. You also had McKenna Eddings who put up 13, had a very, very good day for her. She scored her first field goal in like 8 games. So that was a huge pickup for McKenna Eddings. And then everything else that game was Scott Grayson, HSG all game long. And the defense was just outstanding. And that goes into the next game, the game that happened yesterday, the game that happened today, actually. Auburn took on Florida. And holy crap, what an ending to this game. Auburn got the win 77-74 and rounded out with an 8-8 conference record. And the ending of this game was absolutely ridiculous. Honestly, Scott Grayson did not lead the team in scoring. She had 16. But Marshawn Bostic off the bench came in and put up 18 points. McKenna Eddings put up 11 on the bench. Sydney Shaw and Taylor Collins both put up 9 points. A rare Jemima Mingo Young 0-pointer game. But I mean, up 3. Florida gets the ball. It goes down the court, and Auburn's pressing. I think it might be Bostic and Scott Grayson they're double teaming the guard. And she tries to throw up the 3-pointer, and then in walks Scott Grayson's right hand and just bats the ball down. It was a wild ending before they even got the 3-pointer off to tie the game, and ultimately got the win and secured the 7th seed in the SEC tournament. Auburn will not be playing on the first day of the SEC Women's Tournament. They'll be playing on day 2, and they'll be playing against number 10, the 10th seed in Arkansas. And if Arkansas sounds familiar, not only are they in the SEC, but that is a team that gave Auburn issues earlier on in the year, like a couple weeks ago, when they lost 74-72 in a game that, if you watched it, you would be pretty aware that Auburn should have won this game from the get-go. They'll be getting revenge on them for that poor performance, and that just came down to Auburn just having a terrible third quarter defensively. So it's going to be a huge break for them to get it going against Arkansas again. But as soon as if they were to win that game, they'd go right into LSU, a team that you split already with. Neutral site game, so it'd be very interesting how that game would play out. But the fact that we are talking about this Auburn women's basketball team being a 7th seed in the tournament, I would say the win against Mississippi State already clinched it for me. But the winning out with Florida as well, this is an NCAA tournament team. Auburn is producing 2 NCAA tournament basketball teams in both the women's and the men's worlds. We knew the men's were going to be in the tournament from the get-go, and of course I think all of us predicted this was going to happen earlier on in the year, but this is a team that got projected to finish 12th in the SEC. 12th out of 14 teams in the SEC. And not only did they just absolutely surpass all expectations, they did it in such a fashion that it was just too impressive for a coach to have done in just 3 years. A complete turnaround rebuild. And Coach Jay led that charge all the way through. She did that with the players like Taylon, like the Anscott Grace and Sydney Shaw, McKenna Eddings that she brought in, Jemima Mingo Young, Taylon Collins, all those players she brought in, and really meshed us into a defensive monster of a team that if you let them get hot, they're going to cause you some issues. And this is a team that I don't think can make a deep run. I don't know. There's I'm not going to say Sweet 16, but round of 32 seems very plausible for this team, just because whoever they play against, this is not going to be a highly regarded seeded team in the NCAA tournament. And of course, if the NCAA screws them and puts them in the NIT, Auburn's going to have a nice little NIT championship women's basketball banner to hang up. And I'm not opposed to having that at all. That's just how good this team is. And especially if you have them play against, like, I have not seen what bracketology has put for them. I know they were once one of the last 4 in, but they should definitely be in right now. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of fun to see how this team plays out against Arkansas. They're going to be playing on March 6th. So starting this week, and we'll have a full preview of that on the Tuesday show, going through that entire game. Right now, if you ask me, Auburn's got that in the bag. And I'm knocking on wood for that, but I feel pretty confident. It'll be on March 7th. Correction. We'll have a preview on the Thursday show. There we go. Going fully in depth on the different X's and O's of Arkansas women's basketball versus Auburn. And this is just a celebration of just how good Coach Jay has this team and just how far along in the rebuild she is. Because again, this is just absolutely ridiculous to see from Auburn women's basketball. After 3, I'm trying to measure the Coach Flo bad years. I think 3 or 4 bad years from Coach Flo. You moved on, got Coach Jay, and of course, Coach Flo was a great individual to be around. Coach Jay came in, immediate turnaround. Just in the locker room in general, it wasn't a team that won a lot of games in year 1. It was a team that caused some issues in year 2, and then it just exploded this year, and it's just absolutely wild to watch happen. This is the same team that broke their record for just overall attendance in a year, and you can slowly feel the energy forming around women's basketball as the season went on. I mean, the media team did a great job of hyping up every game. It's like, if you came in here, you get a shirt. If you came in here, you get a cup. Just trying to get people to fill the stands, because this is a team that deserves some respect. They deserve the fans behind them, no matter at what cost. I mean, the tickets weren't expensive. It was just, you had to be there. You had to witness what's going on. You got to watch. Got to watch Bruce Pearl turn around men's basketball, and they wanted to make sure that the fans watched Coach Jay turn around women's basketball. It has just been an outstanding thing to watch happen, and if you're not happy about the coming years behind Coach Jay, I feel sorry for you. I truly do, because this is a team that Auburn has the facilities in place to create dominant forces in the sports world. They just need the right person at the helm. We saw that. We're seeing baseball do that with Butch Thompson. We're seeing basketball do that with Bruce Pearl. We are starting to see glimpses of Auburn doing that with Coach Jay. And of course, time will tell with the other coaches on what they can accomplish later on. We're 2 years into Coach Freeze. We're 4, 5, 6 years into Mickey Dean. Then of course, time will tell for those two. Mickey Dean has done some great things at Auburn Softball, trying to just reproduce what was going on a couple years back with Auburn. And you're sitting there watching, and you're watching Jeff Graba build this gymnastics fan base up, and Auburn sells that every game for gymnastics, sells that every game for men's basketball, and it's just so fun to watch Auburn's get pretty. I don't know if they sold out many games. I think they sold out one for LSU, but just to have a sellout, just to have back to 3 records broken in game attendance, and just watch all this stuff happen. It's just truly awesome. It's amazing to watch happen. The buy-in is just absolutely outstanding. It is absolutely outstanding. And I highly recommend that if you didn't make it to a game this year, next year, get tickets early, because this team is going to be a lot of fun to watch for years to come. And I guess if you're an Auburn fan, you can hop on the bandwagon whenever, but it's better to hop on when there's plenty of seats available than after this team starts upsetting a lot of teams, and then it starts to get the ball really rolling. But yeah, huge shout out to Coach Jay. Just 3 short years turned this team into a second day in the SEC tournament and a potential NCAA tournament team in just a short while. So huge shout out to Coach Jay. And then before we get into baseball and softball and gymnastics, and then of course the combine, I'm gonna go and let y'all know. Thank y'all for tuning in. There's 11 people tuning in right now, so huge shout out to all 11 of y'all for hanging out right here at the College League Podcast. I do recommend that if you do so, please leave a like, leave a comment, and of course subscribe. We are getting very close to 800 subscribers right here on the College Loop. If you need a comment, leave your prediction for Auburn football. Leave a prediction for where you think Auburn basketball is going to wind up. Let me phrase that. Seeding in the tournament. Where do you think the ceiling is for Auburn women's basketball in the NCAA tournament? What do you think the ceiling is for Auburn men's basketball in the NCAA tournament as well? Just to kind of see where they can go at and to see. So James Barnett, Dylan, if the women win their first game in the SEC tournament, they play a rematch with LSU. What do you think of a possible upset? So these two teams split each other with different home games. So Auburn won at home, LSU won at home. It's really hard for me to look at that LSU team and to watch how they played and say that LSU wouldn't just win. But of course, it wouldn't be a blowout. I would not say a blowout at all. Right now, I would say, and I just see Tim Tomaine Taylor's comment right there. I'd give the edge to LSU, 4 or 5 points maybe. I think it kind of just depends on how the crowd moves. That game, that Greenville, South Carolina, could very well be an LSU home game. Those fans are loyal. They are diehard, ride or die fans for LSU, and you just got to drive to Greenville, South Carolina to watch it happen. Right now, I'd give the edge to LSU. But weirder things have happened. This is March. So honestly, I think I said it I don't know if I said it last show or 2 shows ago or last week. I said that if Coach Jay gets his team hot at the right time, which I think is very capable right now, and they've been playing like that, this could be what Kentucky was last year or 2 years ago, whenever Kentucky won the SEC tournament. Auburn could be that team. The issue with if you beat LSU and you get through Ole Miss, who I believe would probably win in their bracket right below us, move on to the championship, where you're going to have to meet Coach Don Staley and the South Carolina Gamecocks, which, if you're not aware of women's basketball very much, South Carolina, very, 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 one more time, very good, completely undefeated, SEC conference record, regular season record, undefeated, never lost. I rarely there was a few games where they won by single digit points. They beat Auburn by 20. But if Auburn does make the path to LSU, I would think that they can beat like Ole Miss in the next round, and then I don't think anybody's beating South Carolina this year. And then Tim Tomaine Taylor's gives his ceilings for both teams. I don't. Tim, is this ceilings or is this a prediction? I just got to know because you say chips for both. So national championship for Coach Jay and national championship for Bruce Pearl, which that would also be awesome in and of itself, because that would be a nice little banner ceremony. You could have them both going up at the same time, so that'd be a lot of fun. And as I was going on the ad read, if you've already subscribed, if you already liked, if you already commented, and you're looking for somewhere else to support the show, we have merch. If you just take yourself to thewarreport.com, go to their shop. On the first page is the College Loop War Report Podcast Network sponsored College Loop Feelin' Loopy t-shirt that comes in 5 different colorways. Only $25, and believe me, $25 is an absolute steal, because this is the most comfortable shirt you are ever going to wear in your entire life. We've talked to 10 doctors. They all agreed. We talked to neurologists, and they said the shirt is the best shirt for your brain. It's a mental stimulation shirt. Like if you have an interview coming up, wear the shirt, confidence all the way up in the interview. You have a doctor's appointment coming up, put on the shirt, a complete bill of health. It's just an awesome shirt. It does wonders. It's the most comfortable shirt you're ever going to wear. John Conley, guy, he was joined us for the last live stream. He says he sleeps in it, and he said he's the best sleep he ever has in his entire life whenever he's wearing the shirt. So whatever use you have for the College Loop Feelin' Loopy t-shirt, you can make one, and you can do that today. If you just take yourself, and there's also a link in the description below for that shirt. And let's see, that shirt is worth every penny. That is James Barnett. That is a 100% guarantee from James Barnett. That is the most credible source in the Auburn world. No, sports world. James Barnett is the most credible source in the sports world, saying that. So as he knows, and Chris Causey as well. One of the 1A, 1B, the two most credible sources in sports. Chris Causey as well. Nice shirt for sure. See, it's credibility. See, they got the shirts and the credibility skyrocket. It's crazy how that works. Just so if you're looking for a nice shirt to get, go to the link down below and get your own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt today. So Diamond Sports, Auburn Baseball, starting off with them, finished 2-1 in their weekend series versus UConn, beating them in game 1, 8-1, losing in game 2, 8-4, and then winning today, 8-2. And today it was just that was an absolute fun game to watch. Again, I was away from the TV yesterday, so I didn't get to watch any sports really. I had a nice little date night with my girlfriend, so you got to mix in some personal life with the sports life. So UConn did get it done in game 2 behind just a absolutely ballistic first inning. Scored 6 runs in that first inning, and then they scored 1 run in second and third, and then it was just scoreless until the 8th when Auburn tried to get back in it and only put a one run and got it 8-4. It was just a bad game. Just that inning just completely set aside any chances at Auburn winning the game. It was just bad from the get-go, but the first game and second and the third game was awesome. Auburn put up 3 runs in the 5th inning and 3 in the 8th inning in that first game. Behind Chase Alsop, who had a very, very good standout game. And it was just awesome from the get-go. But in game 3, Ike Irish, the man, the myth, the legend himself, had his first career multi-home run game where he put up 2 home runs. I think they were both 2 RBI home runs too, or at least I know one of them was. And yeah, there it is. 4 RBIs. He had 2 home runs. Both guys were on base. And he also had a great standout performance from a true freshman, and Cam Tilley, who got on the mound later on in the game after Carson Myers came off, and he just shut it down. When he got in for 4 innings, and he took it down. He locked it down. Auburn did not give up a run. After the 5th inning, And then, of course, he had Will Cannon come in and just close it out. Even with the bases, I believe, loaded, he just locked it. He just got it down. But yeah, that was a huge win for Auburn. Not only just beating up on a team. UConn's not the best team in the world. It's just a huge win because the bats were hot all weekend. Auburn scored 20 runs throughout this week against a pretty highly ranked opponent. I'm gonna say not P5, but a G5, independent team. I don't know what to call it, independent teams anymore. But you stand up performance from a lot of guys. Just that game 2 just left a bad taste in your mouth. Joe Go did not have the best game, and of course, it's just that first inning. That's all I got. It's just the first inning that did him in. But softball, on the other hand, did round out this weekend with a 4-0 record, taking on Northwestern, USC Upstate twice, and North Texas. And of course, if you could have guessed it, Auburn was supposed to play 5 games this weekend, but due to rain on Friday, Auburn had to postpone and cancel the Northwestern game on Friday, which that rounds out the total to not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but I believe 5 cancel. Like I'm trying. I think 7 cancellations this year for Auburn softball. So that's fun. Would love it if those games were not canceled because this team definitely does need those extra games going into the year. And it's not because I think this team is bad. I think this team can live up to expectations that we have. Top 5 in the SEC, I think, is where I have this team right now. And I'm kind of slipping in between a couple of other teams, but this team has the talent to get there. They just need to get more consistent bats. And you get that with some players. And of course, if you watch the USC Upstate game today, I'm sorry if you missed it because that game was awesome. Auburn was down 4-2 and came back and got it within 4. And I'm trying to get it and tied it up. So it was Auburn got the lead 2-0 in the first. Then USC Upstate went on a 4-run or got 3 runs in the second, 1 run in the third. Went up 4-2, scoreless 4th inning, and then bottom of the 5th, Auburn got started, got 1. And then got another home run in the 6th with Elkins got a home run in the 5th. Ice Traffic got an RBI in the 6th. And then in the 7th inning, bottom of the 7th, bases loaded, in walks Michaela Packer, not known for her power hitting ability. More of the bunt it and going to outrun the ball all the way to first base. She hit a no-doubter ball straight over the fence, grand slam and I think I said it best last year myself, hit a no-doubter. Walk-off grand slam to win the game against USC Upstate. And I had someone tweeted me and say Auburn shouldn't need a walk-off for this game regardless. You got to know, this does not have... The majority of this game was pitched by, I want to say it was Milena Tambora, who is a freshman who had a great game as a freshman. Weidger did not have the best start. She got in and kind of gave up those 3 runs, but it was her first, I believe, her first start of the year. And those things happen. And Auburn, of course, it's not like they didn't play this team before. They beat them 10-4 yesterday. Not too upset about this. Baseball and softball are like some of the sports that it doesn't matter how much more talented one team is than another team. There's just days where they just look better than they actually are. And you saw that today. And you saw Auburn power through, and this is one of the best wins Auburn got all year. Not because they hit a grand slam, but because they went down early. USC Upstate doubled their score, 4-2 for a good chunk of the game. Or an inning and like 2 innings worth. Auburn was down. 5th inning, gets it within 1 run. 6th inning, ties it up. Bottom of the 7th, Shelby Lowe locks it down. Top of the 7th, and then of course The rest is history. Auburn Grand Slam walks it off. You're watching a team that is playing together and getting back into games. That is what you want to see. Auburn's going to be taking on Troy this week. And I believe that's going on the 5th. So that is Tuesday. So I have a preview of that for the Tuesday show. Just got to make sure. And I also got to check baseball too, because I did not. Yes, Wednesday. Preview for that on Tuesday show as well. But you're watching a team that needs games like this. They need these games. They need to get punched in the mouth early. And because this team needs to see how they react to, like I just said, getting punched in the mouth. 3 runs early. That sucks. Then going down 4-2 sucks. Then you find yourself down. What do? You get back in it and you win the game with a walk-off. You walk it off, get the win, get out of there unscathed on the weekend, 4-0, and you welcome in-state opponent Troy before you got to play and travel to Missouri to start off SEC conference play. This is a team, Auburn is a team that is down a lot of games because they've been canceled. Whether that be, I know Longwood had some issues and had to leave the Plainsman invite early. So I count those 2 as cancellations, but they had issues that needed to be resolved. And of course you had Northwestern, then you had UAB, and then you had Clemson, and you just had Belmont and Illinois, and you had Virginia Tech get called early because Virginia Tech fans are always pissy about that because they got upset because it got canceled because they were coming back and they were going to win, which may or may not be true. But there's a team that's down a lot of games, and they need games like this. Troy is going to be a huge telling point of how this season might go, or how that first weekend might go, because Auburn's going to need to be at full strength because not only do they have Missouri this weekend, I don't know if you know this or not, but March 15th, March 16th, and March 17th, there's going to be a nice little team called the Arkansas Razorbacks that are going to be coming in to Auburn and JB Moore that weekend. And of course, if you're not aware of the drama that went on last offseason with all the transferees out of Auburn, one of those transfers went to Arkansas, and her name is Bree Ellis, and she is already having an outstanding year. So Auburn has to figure themselves out, need games like Upstate that they had today, because I don't know if you noticed that Bree Ellis can rake. She might have a chance to knock the Eagle off of the tee on top of the Jumbotron, because that's just how hard she hits the ball. So figure yourself out. This game was huge. Auburn didn't lose this weekend, which is another great thing. Couldn't say that about the last weekend of games, but huge win. A huge 4 wins for Auburn, but got to get yourself ready. You got to get yourself figured out, because you can't have Maddie Pinta pitch every game. Shelby Lowe had a great game. You got to have Weeder on point. You got to have Rolf on point. And of course, you had Milena, who played very well as a freshman and really solidifying how great and how deep the mound is. But you got to get more consistent hitters after Amelia Leck and KK McCrary. You got to get more people on base. I say this every time. I know I'm the baseball genius over here. You got to find a way to score more runs than the other team. It's just a simple matter of life. You can't have the defensive showcases are great. They're fun to watch, but they're also very easy to lose. So figure yourself out, and then everything will be fine, and everything will be gravy. And then in other Auburn news, before we get into the combine, Auburn Gymnastics rounded out their regular season with a loss in Athens. Lost 197. I'm trying to figure that 197.55 to 196.9. Just had a pretty meh day on the vault. Scored 49.05, and then had a pretty meh day on the bars. So that pretty much gives that up for whenever Auburn has a bad day on bars. It's not really a good day for anybody. But a lot of great performances throughout. You had a lot of 9.9s, a lot of 9.8s, but you just had a few that kind of just, of course, 4.905 is not going to be your greatest scores in the world. But after this, Auburn is looking to take on in the 2024 Podium Challenge. We're going to be playing LSU, George Washington, and Texas Women's this Friday, and this is going to be in Baton Rouge. And this will be going on before the quad meet in Nashville, and then of course the SEC Gymnastics Championships before you get into the regionals, which Auburn nationally ranked. So season's still going on. Just regular season is over with. SEC play is over with outside, playing the SEC championships in LSU this weekend. But this team has a great foundation. You just get everything playing together at once. The vault has always just been a kryptonite. Had a lot of games where the vault was your best thing, which is a wild thing for me to say with this gymnastics team, because last year that was just, I could never say that. It was always like, well, Auburn scored 49s across the board, but they put up 46 in the vault. That was last year. This year, you have a consistent 49s. You had a couple of games where you scored your highest on the road this season, and you just got to turn those losses into wins. And you're taking on a really good LSU team and George Washington and Texas Women's this weekend. We'll have more coverage of that on the Thursday show, so it'll be a lot of fun. Again, gymnastics. If you're not watching gymnastics, do yourself a favor, turn it on whenever it's on. And then to round out the show, the NFL Combine was this week, and I'm going to go a little prospect by prospect. Auburn had 5 attendees of this year's NFL Combine. I'm going to go by how they're ranked per NFL.com. Starting off with DJ James. He's kind of stole the show in a way, not for anything. He did outstandingly well. It was more the fact that he put on 11 pounds this offseason and ran a 4.42. Currently ranked as the 10th best corner in the league, and ranked by NFL.com as will eventually be a plus starter at a 6.3. So still overall a great prospect from DJ James. He's the highest rated prospect out of all of the Auburn Tigers. And there's the weaknesses they have for him are might lose ground when carrying speed down the field, lacks desired size, which he fixes that with adding the weight, and below average length to play the ball around big targets, more watcher than worker and run support, which we all knew that. Not the best tackler in the world, DJ James is. But 4.42 on the 40 did very well in the skills and other things. He didn't take place in the vertical jump or the broad jump or any of the other drills, but this was like one of the worst combines I've ever heard about, because you had so many people just opt out of so many things. Because I don't think I don't think a single Auburn player or former Auburn player performed in all of the events. There we go. Words. But yeah, huge day for DJ James, showing that he can still run no matter how much weight he puts on. And of course, he had Jalen Simpson, who I think out of all the 5 had the best day for him, and had the best eventual boost in draft stock, because not only did he finish, I think, 3rd in safeties and in the 40-yard dash, he finished 2nd in the vertical jump and 3rd in the broad jump out of the safeties. Currently ranked as the number 2 safety per the athleticism score, and the 2024 combine ranked 12th out of the safeties, but currently ranked as will eventually become a starter, which I think is very factual for Jalen Simpson. He is I would honestly say, probably has the most upside out of a lot of players that are going into this combine, because the athleticism, the way he can play the ball in the air, he is a wide receiver playing safety. That's what we saw early on in the year. I know he didn't get a lot of interceptions later on in the year. Auburn was very injured at defensive back, so he had to do a lot of other stuff. Simp did a lot of great things for Auburn last year, and I think he's going to do a lot of great things. I don't think he's going to get drafted late. I think if someone is smart, round 3 is where I'm looking at Jalen Simpson. He's going to be very, very good no matter where he goes, and I guarantee that. I think of him the same way I thought about Derek Hall in last year's draft. A team is going to draft him, and there's going to be 31 teams going to be upset they missed on him. I know I'm being higher on him than I am DJ James, but DJ James also going to be very good. But Jalen Simpson is just my number 1 guy right now. I stuck with him. He was my guy. I was like, I knew he's going to lead in interceptions and touchdowns. I was right about both of those. So I'm going to be a little biased towards Jalen Simpson. And 3rd, Marcus Harris had a pretty okay day. Ran a 5.06.40, and he did not do the best athletically in like the vertical jump and the broad jump, but as a defensive lineman, you don't really need those. Performed pretty well in the reps in the bench press. 5.06.40 for Marcus Harris, a guy his size is pretty good. And I think a lot of D linemen ran around that, except you had one guy who ran a 4.78, which is absolutely ridiculous. I think Marcus Harris is going to be one of the more solid picks if Auburn were to get one. Auburn might have 3 guys going round 3. And I think you're going to have the other 2 guys probably go later on in the draft. But yeah, Marcus Harris played a pretty good combine. And of course, you had Nehemiah Pritchett, who had a great 40. He ran a 4.36. Nehemiah Pritchett did. And he, of course, he has the same ranking as all the last 4 guys, or these last 3 guys, ranking as a potential backup who could develop into a starter. Ran a 4.36 40, had a 34-inch vertical jump, and we know the athleticism Nehemiah Pritchett holds within him. I think I remember I always say that Nehemiah Pritchett and DJ James could wind up being the Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean of Auburn football, or in the NFL again, because if these 2 get drafted in the same place, I mean, it's GG's for anybody. And if all 3 of these DBs go to the Buccaneers, GG's for anybody, because Auburn is DBU. Little known fact, by the way, they're not. They're like 4th or 5th because Auburn just puts in solid guys year in and year out. But Nehemiah Pritchett, a guy who I think athletically is going to get him drafted higher than most people probably have him ranked, just because that is just how athletic he is. And I know I'm saying athletic a lot, and that's because he just is. He is a freak. And if they just mesh him into a better coverage guy, he'll get there, and he'll be a name people will remember in the NFL. And then lastly, Justin Rogers was the last Auburn Tiger to take part in the NFL Combine. Auburn had 5 defensive players go in. 5 players, all defensive. There we go. Currently ranked as an average backup or special teamer, so probably going to be your day 3 guys going in. Did not try out the 40-yard dash, but he did take place in the vertical jump, which ran at 24.5 inches. Broad jump, 8'3", and then 20-yard shuttle. He ran a 4.87, and the bench press had 21 reps on that. Not the most athletic guy in the world, Justin Rogers, but also he's 6'2.5", 330 pounds. So if you're looking for athletic at that size, I don't know what to tell you. But he had a pretty meh day, I would say. He's as Lance Zierlein says on NFL.com, what you see is what you get. That's what you're getting. Exactly. You're getting a nose tackle in Justin Rogers because he is a nose tackle. He is I'm gonna line him up against the center and try to run against him and see if you can move him. That is what Justin Rogers is. I don't know how likely he is to go like round 5, but round 6, round 7 sounds good for Justin Rogers. I just don't think he is. I don't think he possesses the athleticism and the speed needed for what you want in a defensive tackle. Because I don't know many NFL teams that are set on nose tackles. I don't know many teams that run with those. I know a lot of defensive tackles are in the league, but I don't know of many nose tackles. But that's why I'm so high on Marcus Harris, because I think he's a very solid defensive tackle. And I mean, he's not gonna be a Derek Brown in the league. He'll be a very solid backup, kind of like a Montravius Adams for Marcus Harris, or at least early on in his career. But Justin Rogers, I think that he'll be your 3rd string guy you put in 3rd and goal, put in the big boys so they can't move them kind of guy. If I'm wrong, it'd be awesome. I would love for all 5 of these guys to work out and be all pro, NFL, Hall of Fame kind of guys. But after the first 3, first 4, I don't see. There's a lot of players, and I can't wait for Pro Day. I would love to go to Pro Day to see who all tries out and who all does it. If Cam Newton were to show up again, it'd be awesome. I'd fangirl if you would. But I don't. The Auburn is going to have a very quiet day 1.5 of this draft, because I don't think DJ James is going to get you Roger McCreary level and go early round 2 and have Derek Hall go early round 2 as well. So it'll be a fun draft. I finally get to enjoy my birthday for once outside of the draft, so that'll be a lot of fun. My birthday is April 28th, and usually the draft is on my birthday. It is not this year, so that's gonna be a lot of fun to finally enjoy that, because that's a rare occurrence. But that is all I have for today of the College Loop. Of course, if you're looking for me anywhere, I am Dylan Larck at your boy Tank on Twitter. That is at YABOY the Tank. It's also right. Let me move over a little bit right there. Visual8. Also in the description below as well. Instagram, you have me at Dylan Larck at DYLANLARCK. If you need to know how to spell my name, it is just right there as well. Don't forget the C. A lot of people forget that whenever they email me, text me, or talk to me, or anything along those lines. And of course, if you're looking for me anywhere else, you have me on the College Loop, where that's either right here on YouTube, it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, it's on Twitter, it's on all of those beautiful social media pages. Visual8 for College Loop, right up here. There we go. Fingers. There we go. The College Loop. Don't need to spell that out for you. It's the College Loop. And of course, Tyler seeing my face, I completely understand it. I get tired of seeing Tar's face most of the time on Tuesday and Thursday and Sundays. And he completely gets it too because he feels the same way about me. But we have we have audio versions of the show as well on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Thank you, PPAS, for tuning in. And with all of that being said, War Eagle, and this has been the College Loop Podcast, and thanks for watching.